So I did a thing, again, introducing the 2004 V-Rod, also known as a grocery getter, if you can tell by the bags that I have so drapishly draped on the draping thing. Yeah, that. So, as per the last video, I made a comment about the 750 and its pros and its cons, and oddly enough, I was reminded of the V-Rod with the 750. Specifically, its engine design, the Revolution X, yeah. So naturally, in all of my grand wisdom, I decided let's find essentially the older brother to the 750, and that would be the V-Rod. So, from my understanding, the design for the 750 XG came from the V-Rod, both the 500 and the 750, I should say. So, naturally, I figured I'd compare the apples to oranges, and I gotta say, it is literally an apples to oranges comparison. They're both liquid cooled, but aside from that, that is it. Now, in terms of friendliness, which one should you get? Honestly, the V-Rod. It's better. It's better. It's faster. The brakes are not terrible. You can find parts for them. They have a cult following. You can find parts for them. That is a Mustang seat, so that should tell you something if you can get an aftermarket seat. Now, I don't typically like this sort of seat, but honestly, it's been pretty comfortable, so I'm not going to change it. On top of that, literally, I have never had a single breakdown with this bike. At all. Not a single one. This in here is the cream of the potatoes. This is my pride and joy. And of course, remember how I think I might have did a fire up. The XG was terrible at idle. Let's just get a little... First of all, the ignition's where you can actually see it. On the XG, you were fiddling and all sorts of junk. Very inefficient. Also, fork lock is where you can actually get to it. Everything is great about this bike. It's its own weird quirkiness. So we're going to fire this thing up. That's why I like it. We have Vance and Hines, ladies and gentlemen. And it's tame. I mean, she's pretty tame at idle. The XG was never this tame. It always just screamed. This thing's pretty tame until you really want to get on it. Trust me, she's louder on the highway. I just don't want to romp on it because I'm, near a car lot. But, I mean, this thing is cherry. The XG didn't have any vibration. This one, just enough vibration to let you know she's a Harley. The mirrors. You could never find mirrors for this bike. Well, you could find tons of them online. Anything between the headlights, the bulbs, the rims, even though they're kind of weird, I call them widowmaker screws. When you ride through a storm like I tend to do, trust me, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna wonder the road. Trust me. But I mean, this is not at all a bad bike. And I remember growing up, there was a lot of hate for these things. But now, everywhere I go, everybody's like, oh, is that a V-Rod? Is that a V-Rod? That's so cool. I don't understand the Harley really. I guess it's kind of like a comparison to the Ford Pinto, except, well, this one's still reliable. But, I mean, yeah. Overall, a great bike. Now, there's the beginner friendliness. all of the upcoming videos I shall make, I will do beginner friendliness tests. Honestly, I give this bike about a 7 on the good scale. I mean, it is heavy. I will say it is heavy. It packs a lot of power, about close to, if I'm not mistaken, you could round it up to 1200 if you wanted to. So it's above 1000 cc regardless. It's got a lot of power. And that's about all the cons I can find for it. The clutch is superb. The gas, equally superb. Basically, you could ride it normal, or you can ride it like you stole it. The XG, huge problem with the XG was you couldn't ride it like you wanted to. I mean, the XG always just put instant torque to the bottom. Instant torque. And it's great until you don't want that. Again, I daily ride, so I ride in the rain, in the snow, in all of it. And when you have instant torque, kind of bad. Now, it does sound kind of counterintuitive to put this big bike in a loss of traction scenario, but let's face it, when your clutch is the equivalent of a light switch in a blender, this is so much better. You actually have what's called clutch control, which is what I'm learning is pretty crucial when you're rain riding. The XG, my back end would just do this number all the time, and you could just feel it just skating back and forth. You were essentially about to hydroplane and just flop on the ground like a fish. This one, I have never had a fishtail once, and I plan to keep it that way. Another con factor is, in terms of beginner bike, she will do that full gauge. Can confirm, it will do the full gauge. That is the one thing that, again, I don't really like about it. If you haven't Betsy want to do this bike as a beginner bike, this is a bike that will teach you responsibility, for sure. And the responsibility factor of that is, if you want to go fast, prepare to crash. If you're not prepared to crash, well, you are now. This bike, essentially, any large CC bike, of course, that is capable of going this fast, fact of the matter is, you're gonna learn throttle control, you're gonna learn clutch. If you find staying under the speed limit's a problem for you, bikes are probably not for you. I say it because that's kind of the truth of the matter. If you're afraid of doing above the speed limit, it's probably not for you. Now, all being said, if you're the type of guy that likes to have fun, it's for you. I mean, again, 7 out of 10 rating. This bike is great because it allows you to grow. It will seem like too much bike at first, but it will, I trust me from beginner experience, you will grow into it. And you probably will not be hopping on anything bigger anytime soon. Perfect beginner bike in my opinion. And have I mentioned highway handling? The 750 wanted to rally you to death. I get it. It had a death wobble. This one, a little bit better. If you changed out that front wheel so it wouldn't catch wind all the time and try and drive you off the road, it's not as bad as you think it is. But you get the point. Again, be very great for everyday highway use. I drive this thing to work just about every day now. In fact, I got rid of the 750 in terms of this bike because I just love it that much. The only small problems I see with the V-Rod is the gauge bezel. So this fuel gauge, very inaccurate. If you're the type of guy to rely on a fuel gauge to tell you when to make a pit stop, do not be that guy. You will want a gas station. Never pass up a gas station on this bike. If you really want to learn the true motorcycling fears experience category, ride this thing like you stole it, and then realize that despite it saying it's half full, it's on E. I wouldn't trust it below half a tank. And of course these LCDs, the thing that shows the mileage, that also tends to, sorry I got shaky there, but it also tends to flicker and just doesn't do all good things. Now, also in the professional category, I speak not as a professional, but I've had many people who've been riding bikes for decades even recommend one of these. They're fun. They are just fun. They're reliable. They're fun. They're easy to get parts for. What else could you want? Nah. So next thing we're going to do for this thing is we're going to give this thing a couple of upgrades. I do want to get rid of the cheesy phone holder. That's going away. I like having bare bar. But we're going to essentially put some accessories on this thing. We've already got the bags up back. We got the bags up front. But I do want to upgrade the bags. And that is going to require some modification. Don't worry, we got it covered. Now, if you also own one of these bikes, any sort of knowledge and wisdom is very encouraged. If you want to see a video on anything, just let me know in the comments. All right, with that being said, have a good one.